Social So you have 1 to 6.
7
And for 8. Shall we do statistics? Social response. तो भी रहेगा social response. Social responsibility वो है जो सोशल के फॉर पब्लिक के साथ जो एंगेजमेंट होता है उसको सोशल so social our responsibility towards the public so when a business is being carried out a businessman का main motive क्या होता है correct that is done by NGOs. They are not for what is profit putting नहीं रहता है. Understanding? Social service अलग होता है, business अलग होता है. So this chapter we are going to learn this responsibility. What are the business ethics that they are supposed to follow, and in such a way how it is necessary, why it is necessary, and what are the cause, what is it causing if they are not following the social responsibility. Understood? So basic हम लोग का इसमें यही सीखने का है कि social responsibilities क्यों जरूरी है, इसके लिए हमें क्या करना है, and etc. Regarding business point of view से, when we are talking about social responsibility and business ethics, we are not going to take into consideration NGOs and other institutions who are doing social services. ठीक है? उनका तो main motive ही होता है to serve for the people or to serve for the country, serve for the different underprivileged unorganized institutions or sections of the society. So we are not talking about those institutions which are taking care, which are already taking care of us. We are going to talk about the businesses which are run for making profit and why they need social responsibility. This is what we are going to learn. Okay. Every Indian society has certain obligations towards society. He has to respect social values and norms of living. Business enterprise is permitted by society to carry out industrial or commercial activities and thereby earn profit. But it is obligatory on part of the business enterprise not to do anything. But that is understandable. Manufacture and sale of other favorite goods making deceptive advertisements. Deceptive advertisement. Deceptive means Juta. Are trying to show that you are selling the best quality good, but actually you are not selling. So can roughly advertisement. Yeah, our product is 100% safe for children, but in reality, it might not be 100% safe for children. So it's a deceptive advertisement. Advertisement. Not paying taxes which are being polluting the environment and exploiting workers are some examples of socially unacceptable practices which we increase the profit prices but which have adverse effect on society at large. On the other hand, supplying good quality goods, creating healthy working conditions, confiscating tax prevention, installation, solution, devising the factory and attending customer complaints are examples of desirable practices which increase the image of enterprises and also make them profitable. Practice applied behavior that business enterprise can get so there are two types of activities. One which is socially desirable and the other one is which is socially undesirable. So socially desirable both activities होती है. Socially desirable वो activities होती है जो the public wants the businesses to do such activities, or socially undesirable activities which are not needed or people detest that the business is doing such kind of activities. First example के लिए socially desirable activities में would be giving fair wages to the employees or the workers in the factory. ठीक है? Not employing underage so 18 and below होते हैं ना बाल क्या minor so you're not supposed to employ the minors and then what else if your factory is giving out excess of pollution, like there is a fixed ratio that so and so percentage of so and so gases. So if your factory is producing something which is exceeding that percentage or that ratio, then you are supposed to do changes in the machinery that is being used in the factory. But then you are thinking from a business point of view, you are thinking that if I change this machinery, it's going to cost me much more higher. And it will be more than the polluted rays or polluted gases in the environment. So it is a socially undesirable activity. Correct. What is happening in these countries? Other factories continuously undesirable order more than the required ratio of the unrequired gases. It is polluting the environment, indirectly or directly leading to global warming, You can see right now we are already under a very bad climate influence, global warming areas. Like you can't predict our sponsor बारिश होता है दोपहर में गर्मी होता है students like you are seeing three seasons together one day पहले ऐसे होता था क्या पहले you used to get proper fixed rainy season from June to August and then there would be winter season now you cannot predict कि कब rains हो जाए या कब ठंडी हो जाए या फिर कब गर्मी हो जाए so that is the kind of climate that is happening why because the factories are also contributing to this global warming. Understood? Or you can say like there has been जो cars manufacture होता है तो उसमें भी एक kind of gases the polluting gases. So the companies now are given strict instructions that you are supposed to manufacture the top quality engines for the cars which will emit the least possible gases into the environment. But those top quality engines would be pricey or would be heavy on the pockets for the business sector. So they will opt for the lower versions, which would be better for their pockets. And they will, the cost they are saving, percentage they will give it as a bribe to the passing officer who is going to quality check the engines. So still they will be claiming that they are making a great amount of profit by stating that or by going for the lower version of the engine. But what is happening because of that? They are indirectly contributing to global warming, they are indirectly contributing or they are indirectly or directly knowingly doing socially undesirable activity. So they are directly or indirectly doing socially undesirable activity. उसके अलावा क्या है? You must have seen that the adulteration happening in the food materials. अभी जो भी vegetables उस market में होता है, are you aware कि उसमें कितना सारा chemicals and fertilizers use होता है? So right now, eating a apple is like eating a bowl full of chemicals or fertilizers because now chemicals and fertilizers spray करते हैं. And why is it that? ये आता होगा कोई दूर जगह से, like कश्मीर से या फिर तमिलनाडु से. So it is going to be in transit for something 4 to 5 days. Usually what happens if the fruit is ripe, you pluck it and you eat it or you consume it immediately. These are perishable products. They don't have much long life, but just to keep it in good condition till it is in transit, these kind of chemicals are sprayed. What do? They do not wait for the fruits or the vegetables to reach the appropriate times. They pluck it before time and they spray chemicals on it that it will all ripe together. Like you can see that there would be a box of mangoes which is yellow at the same time. When you are actually somewhere, you will not see that all the mangoes ripe at the same time. Different size and different timing. You will not get 12 mangoes together here ripe at the same time, yellow at the same time. It would be like one would be ripe today, the next the other day. Some suffering. Right. In 4 to 5 days. Yeah, with 4 to 5 days, when goods will reach the destination, and then it would be sold. And no, they would be like spotless. First, the chemicals and fertilizers there. How is the living being going to survive on that? So you will always see the palette fresh, not the kila on it. But I said if there's a kila on that, it's safe to eat. बाकी चीजों में there is no कीड़ा मतलब so much fertilizers and it is going to kill us internally bit by bit. So that is the kind of adulteration happens. Is this a socially acceptable activity? No, because it is affecting every one of us. अभी ये तो हम लोग डायरेक्टली इफेक्ट्स ले रहे हैं ना, पोल्यूशन का हम लोग को डायरेक्टली इफेक्ट्स नहीं आ रहा है, इनडायरेक्टली व्हेन द क्लाइमेट चेंज है हमको क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है, चलो गर्मी ये इस लगा दो, चलो बारिश है ये लगा दो, इट्स जस्ट अ लिटिल बिट इनकन्वीनियंस फॉर अस. This food thing is directly affecting us. We don't know what to eat, what is safe to eat. So all these are socially undesirable activities. So this is the responsibility बनता है कि they look or do such practices which are not socially undesirable. They should be going for socially desirable. Socially desirable activities like giving the best quality produce to the consumers or following the conditions and the norms prescribed by the government in manufacturing anything like the engines of the cars, be it the machinery kept in the factory, isn't it? So yes, are socially desirable activities. So in between there was this case like Nike is using minors to manufacture their shoes. Because shoes होता है, उसके अंदर minors का हाथ जाता है. A बड़ा हाथ भी, the difference like that, but you can't insert your hand inside the shoes. So they had employed minors to put the placing of the soles inside the shoes. And this was a big case at that time. It was a socially undesirable activity. Then later on, I stated that we have stopped this express. So that is also so overweight socially undesirable activity. You are not supposed to employ minors, correct? Why is that? Underage, they are not child, they are not sure enough whether they want to do so or not. They are being offered money, and they might be forced to do such kind of thing. Unlike the adults who are above 18 years of age, they have their own mindset and ability to choose whether they want to work or they want to study, isn't it?
Basically, the minors, one minors stop saying basically.
ऐसे कुछ नहीं जॉब्स. There are so many institutions and NGOs जो ऐसे ऑर्फन और even government schemes are there जो ऐसे ऑर्फन बच्चों free education दे रहे हैं, free food दे रहे हैं उधर, तो उनको चाहिए पैसा. क्या चाहिए? What would be एक लोग अपना प्रोजेक्ट सोचना. A beggar के लिए जितना खाना इम्पोर्टेंट रहेगा कि खाना तो जिसको कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है, ये जो तुम बोल रहे हो ऑफिस वगैरह, they were going for this kind of thing or they might be forced to do that. But if they are aware or they are guided properly, government itself is giving so many schemes to give them with the basic necessities of food, shelter, and education. If they do well in their education, they can further at least go and get a good job. Child will get a good job. When you reach the age, what job are you going to get? Again, you will be just labor-intensive jobs only. But if you're educated, you will get much better scope of education, scope of jobs are there. Education, correct? So, you have to the target answer. What they are doing. We have all the necessities. We are getting everything. Education ahead. Now we want pocket money. Go upstairs. Because we hate it, so they don't know what's trend, what's going on next. They want to पेट भरा होता है तभी हम इसके बारे में सोचते हैं. पेट ही नहीं भरा है. First we will think about the concept of social. You have a new concept of social.
social responsibility relates to the part of business contribute to the social well-being. Social responsibility is the obligation, business and to the society. Business and government with the impact of their and activities on the other sections of the society. They should recognize and understand the aspirations of society in which they carry on their the business cannot exist in isolation. The businessman make the resources of societies and members of society. So they must do something for the society.
Basic concept of social responsibility is important. Businessmen should give something back to the society. They are one of the profits of the society. So they should give something back to the society by doing or by producing or by manufacturing the goods and following the proper standards and rules prescribed by the government. So ये है हमारा concept of social responsibility. What the business is getting from the society, the business will also give back to the society. That is the social responsibility of the business. Need for social responsibility. Should a business enterprise be run for the benefit of its only desire to get as much profit as is possible of it? It means to be responsible for the system interest of the sectional society, such as customers, employees, suppliers, government, and the very concept of social responsibility implies that it is essentially an issue since it involves the question of what is morally right or wrong in relation to the forms of responsibility. Social responsibility is an element of voluntary action on the part of the business person, making people perform or not perform such responsibilities. They may also exercise their freedom from deciding the extent to which they would like various sections of society in fact all business people do not be legally responsible to this. There has been a debate for some time now whether business should assume social responsibilities or not. Some people strongly believe that a firm only social responsibilities towards the business. Some other, however, hold an opposite view and argue that a firm has a social responsibility to serve all sections of society who are affected by decisions and actions. It would be useful to understand the arguments of both in favor or against the assumption of social responsibility. So let us first understand an example. There might be two businessmen. One businessman feels that I should be socially responsible. The other feels I don't care about social responsibility. At the end of the day, I should take profits. Okay. So both are doing businesses, and the first. One of the important things, like in any business, there would be waste generation. हमारे घर में भी waste generation होता है कि नहीं? Waste होता है ना घर पे, नहीं होता है? क्या पता? Waste collection के लिए कोई आता है? आता है ना? हमारे घर में waste generate हो रहा है, इससे तो waste collection के लिए आ रहा है ना? So how? I don't know about your house. In my house, they take waste into different parts, like सूखा कचरा and dry waste. एक ही उधर. God. So where is your social responsibility as individuals? दादा की तो एक ही करना है, नहीं हम लोग इससे अभी फिलहाल तो अभी मुंबई का बता रही हूँ. There are 3 camps which come to collect waste. एक सिर्फ सूखा कचरा जाता है, dry waste, and the other one takes only wet waste. The third one takes only sanitary waste. The waste is collected in 3 different times, 3 different trucks. It is your responsibility to segregate waste. This is social responsibility. घर पे मम्मी नहीं करे तो तुम लोग करो. You have to make your parents understand. But the next generation of this world, and what are you doing? Totally wrong. तुम्हारा social responsibility कहाँ गया? So I'm talking about, let us talk about two businesses. So one business is not segregating the waste, and the other one is segregating the waste. So of course, the one which is segregating the waste is a desirable businessman, while the other one is not an undesirable one. क्या होता है waste segregation नहीं करने से? The first thing I talked about social responsibility, I ever mentioned about Swachh Bharat. Swachh Bharat का ही scheme है ये. You have to segregate the waste into two. Why? Why? Can anybody tell me why do we have to segregate waste? Tell them. Like the cows eating the plastics and the yeah, that is one. Other than that,
biodegradable.
yes, biodegradable and degradable. When there is wet waste segregation, you can use the entire wet waste to make compost. Degradable है वो. मतलब they will degrade faster compared to the dry waste. And when that is degrading, if you add the proper components, you can make compost out of it. And compost is called as black gold. It can be used for agricultural activities, as fertilizer, as biofuel भी use कर सकते हैं. So जो chemical fertilizer use कर रहे हैं उसके बदले में replacement हो जाएगा ये. You, I don't know if SBC food brands and people वहाँ पे they are selling compost which is being generated from their food courts. They are segregating their wet waste and dry waste, and the wet waste is being composted. Compost कैसे करते पता है? You, I'll just tell you shortly. All the wet waste is mixed with some dry mix and some earthworks, or maybe if they are live composting. Fertile करता है वो land को. So they are selling this packets of compost. ये compost, it won't smell it. You are thinking the compost is there. It smells like sand. It smells like earth. So compost is a very good thing for which you can give back to your mother earth. Compost is a very good thing which you can do at your home. You can do it if you have space like a balcony or something. YouTube पे बहुत सारे videos तो देखते हो. एक video देखते हैं how compost. एक छोटा सा मटका लगेगा and all the kitchen waste can go in that. Correct. तुम्हारा जो तुम दे रहे हो कचरा उसमें से ही wet waste हट जाएगा. And the other person, the person collecting your waste doesn't have to put hands into that dirty wet and dry waste and try to separate it. Because you are doing it your level itself. Okay, I am doing composting at home. Basically, मेरे घर से सिर्फ wet waste, dry waste जाता है. I don't have wet waste to give back because it is being used at my house for my plants. Isn't it? So that is my social responsibility that I am doing as an individual. Understood? You all can do it. It's very easy. So, as social responsibility is needed for business, is needed for everybody, for all the individuals. हम सिर्फ individuals के बारे में या जब हमारे साथ कुछ गलत हो रहा है, there was this factory at one place which was generating so much of bad fuel that इतना smell आ रहा था that all the people living nearby, they couldn't stay at their homes because it was generating such bad fumes and smells. So finally they all gathered together and decided that they will go and block the factory working. The factory will be stopped because it was unbearable to stay near the factory. And जिन्होंने वहाँ पे already घर बनाए, They had to survive. They cannot leave their homes and go just because factories working. Only thing they could do was they gather together collectively and decide to stop the factory working. Understood? So when the business is doing something undesirable and which is affecting our daily life, like breathing fresh air, we reacted. So when the waste is not being segregated, you are not being affected directly. That is why we are not reacting. But what happens, Ishmael Devnath, there's a dumping yard. Have you heard that there was this fire at Devnath dumping yard? I think it was 2 3 years back. And fire is another there. These wet waste and dry waste all are together. Every waste has different period of degrading. And when the wet waste is degrading, they obviously produce some kind of use. When the dry waste is degrading, they produce some kind of use. And इसके बीच में क्या होता है? There will be battery damage, so and so stuff. So it chemical reaction create करता है. And the fire was started in the dumping yard because, and इतना smell आ रहा all the Devnath, तो मैंने देखा. ये हमारे मुंबई में ये बैठा तो कि ना Devnath बस से घुसने चेंबूर stop. So Devnath is आप एक dumping yard है. आप हम सब हमारा सब खत्म के साथ है. हाँ
Yeah.
इधर कौन जगह है? Mountain areas में तुम लोग का greenery को destroy करके dumping yard आपको जाके वेस्ट डंप करना है फर्टाइल लैंड के लिए तो इज द प्लास्टिक रिमूव्ड नो प्लास्टिक बॉटल्स भी है बैटरीज भी है एवरीथिंग इज देयर कहां से फर्टाइल होगा इट विल जस्ट बिकम अ डंपिंग यार्ड the fire was started and they were dumping and it went out because it is so risky that you cannot go and extinguish it and it is steps that you can come is burning the waste. As the different kinds of waste is being burned, different gases are being emitted. Further, it is accelerating. In forest में भी आग लगता तो ऐसे होता है. It's very difficult. Yes, no, Arizona forest because it's outside India. उनको बात करना देखा हमारे मुंबई हमारे घर के बाजू में आग लगा है वो वायरस नहीं हो रहा है तो एरिज़ोना में आग वायरस हो रहा है तो वो कैसे So I was like, we stay proud. So, what do you feel? Social what is this? You do your social responsibility. What is your name? Yes, okay. Then I should give you for yours. Your my friend. I cannot expect you to do anything from other party. Okay, so it is a good time to introduce you, please. Okay. So then you will become majors. and grown ups and do your businesses, you will follow your social responsibility, isn't it? Okay. So arguments for social responsibility.
Is
Let a particular people. The certification for existence and food. Existence for providing goods and services that are human needs. Government will be an important justification for undertaking business activity. It should be looked on as an outcome of services. Exactly. Prosperity and growth of business is possible to make this continuous services. As assumption of social responsibilities by business provide the justification for existence. Okay, so we are looking at the argument for social responsibility. The first one is justification for existence and growth. So if a business is following, then so if a business is following the social responsibility and a business which is not following the social responsibility, तो उससे क्या होता है कि then continuously factory was giving out bad polluting gases. तो society है society does not want such kind of businesses which is not impacted. But in place under its factory as a proper guidelines followed regarding emission of gases, then the society would not have affordable. So but the one who followed the social responsibility, उसका business चलता रहा. So continuous existence किसका है? The one who is following social responsibility. There's no tax profits, but it was for a short period of time. While for the longest period of time, the one which was following social responsibility has worked better. Yeah. Understood this point? How social responsibility is favoring continuous existence of the business. Understood? Long-term interest of and single standard maximum profits in the long run and increasing number of members of society, including workers, consumers, shareholders, governments, officials, feel that business enterprises not having this best interest, they will tend to withdraw their cooperation in the enterprise concern. Therefore, it is in its own interest to perform its social responsibilities. The public image of many corporates also be improved when it's so long-term interest of people. So as we discussed the first point, the long-term, the one which is following the social responsibility is running or is just if you are manufacturing cars which is not following the standard protocol or the standards mentioned in manufacturing engines, and the one which is following the standards mentioned in the manufacturing of engines. Why is the standard being mentioned? Obviously, because it is not only looking at the social aspect, it is also looking at the long run or the long duration of the engine that is going to work. So all these taken into consideration कि वो standards mention किया होगा, okay? तो वो engine जो standards को follow करके बनाया है और वो engine जिसने standards follow करके नहीं बनाया है, तो उससे क्या हो रहा है? जो बनना जो proper बनाया है उसका life ज़्यादा होगा, duration ज़्यादा होगा, maintenance कम लगेगा, isn't it? Engines को maintenance करता है. As engines को so then see Sample organization, एक engine है, which is taking or which is emitting gases in a higher proportion as recommended by the government. So government has to कुछ feature add करके बोला होगा कि will reduce the emission of such gases. So ये gases कब emit होता है? Then there is this technical thing in that कि burning ज़्यादा हो गया तो उसका जो wear and tear हो रहा है, तो wear and tear is much higher when the engine is of lower quality. And when the wear and tear is higher, maintenance उसका ज़्यादा लगेगा ना. While in this case, the wear and tear is lesser compared to the other one. So less wear and tear है, maintenance सीधे कम ही लगने वाला है. Understood? कोई भी चीज हो तुम्हारा immediate footwear, one which you use regularly is going to wear and tear faster. So if you buy a very low quality footwear and you use it on a regular basis, so then the टूट के हाथ में आएगा. But if you buy a very good quality one, it is going to stay with you for a long time. Next point, avoidance of government regulations.
अलग-अलग क्या?
The case for social.
Business, government regulations are unprofitable because they limit. Therefore, it is believed that businesses can avoid the problem of government regulations by voluntarily assuming social responsibility, which helps to reduce the need for.
So, why when does the government need to interfere? Or when does the authority need to interfere? For example, let us take ask you the classes are on. Yeah, so every day let us assume your lectures are from 10 to 12:30, then they give you a lunch break of half an hour. And then the next lecture is from 1 to 6:30. That's a sample. Just giving you an example. So इसमें तुमको lunch break दे रहे half an hour. So first week तो तुम लोग सब half an hour में पास करते. Next week, look at the half an hour extra day. The next week, you start with 1 hour. So, when the teacher is coming to the class and waiting for you to take the lecture, but you all are turning a half an hour later than the prescribed time. So, if I or if the teacher, should I let that go? Regulation that I will pass. Special behavior, I pass that law. And then the very next day onwards, everybody is coming back on time. So the second day, when the start continuously breaking the laws or not following the prescribed standards, the government feels the need to intervene or to come and intervene and pass a law or regulation so that the businesses are working as per the prescribed manner, following a social responsibility. Are you understanding the example and the why will government interfere? Only जब कोई student regularly lectures regularly come to the class. That's it. So what will we do? We will continuously keep sending messages to the book. It's not education. But this is parents will be informed. Parents be agreed that so they don't mind with us. They don't mind. If he is being bunking the lectures without the knowledge of their parents, the parents will come to know and then they will take strict action on it. It's just an example. Anything personal is purely going to be. So this will happen, and the next day onwards, we will see lectures coming regularly in the class. So parents had to intervene. Same way, when the company is regularly misbehaving or not following or breaking the rules and protocols, the government feels the need to intervene and make new laws and regulations. But it's still be better agar there is this class going on, all the students always come on time, half an hour. They get the proper half an hour. Without disturbance. So there is no punishment when the student is following proper social responsibility. There will be lesser rules. There will be lesser regulations by the government. So to avoid government regulation, the companies should follow the social responsibility by themselves. Next, maintenance of system. And clearance laws cannot be passed on all possible circumstances, even that they are not for the business is work and social activities, not necessarily governed by law. This may harm the interest of business itself. Therefore, it is desirable that business enterprise should. Okay. So the argument over here is that laws cannot be passed for all possible circumstances. In fact, it's very difficult. Laws can be passed for all the possible circumstances. I cannot pass a law that every child should come on time to class. This assumes that will come at the time. I cannot assume that everybody will go directly to their homes once elections. So we assume that you are in contact with your parents about the plans after your elections. So it is not possible the same day that हर चीज के लिए law बनाया जाए. So people who feel that they're not getting their view from businesses, they resort to anti-social activities which are not governed by the laws. So even though you're doing a business and you're feeling that not that much profit as you wanted, they may resort to anti-social activities. What might be an anti-social activity? Which will earn money. Anti-social activities. That's black marketing. Drug dealing, black marketing, then quotation. Alcohol is more legalized way. So if you take proper license, there are people who go, the alcohol is just representing. There is one organization who has proper licenses. Because license say or black relation. Yeah, under the table. So he is getting all the stocks also. License ऊपर नीचे हो जाता है display levels. इसको पढ़ पड़ता है. Then person is selling proper plan of what is how it is being served. So the maintenance, the need that they don't want is always in the hands of the business.
holds that business institutions have valuable financial and legal systems which can be effectively used for solving problems. For example, business has a pool of managerial talent and capital resources supported by years of experience of organizing business activity. It can help society to tackle this problem better given the huge financial and
Okay, so businesses have the resources which can help them tackle their social responsibility. Human resources to under the social responsibility, even in this institution, there might be two lessons kept and if the people are not contributing in the basements. So that is when this box private box out of 10 people, if one person is not looking correctly, then it becomes a mess, isn't it? So the human resources are there, and this businesses just need to guide them properly so that these resources can be utilized in the best possible way, following the social responsibility. Understood? So there are availability of resources to businesses. Yes, I'm checking.
Related with the preceding argument is the argument that business its glorious system of these situations into profitable means can not only solve social problems, but it can also make them effectively useful by accepting the challenge of that.
So businesses are earning profits. Of all the profits that they are earning, if at least 5% of the utilized for social responsibility, it would be doing a great favor for the society, isn't it? So if the businesses itself are proactively wanting to give back to the society, then it is a opportunity which is already available for businesses that they can give back in this form. If they are like business society, they will cross the certain amount of the profit. They will be contributing 10% to the people section of the society, or in the educated side, or in some other thing which is socially acceptable. Make social responsibility is nothing. It take a one time. So it is like converting a problem into an opportunity for business. And what happens when this is being done? अभी actual is like बेटी पढ़ाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ बेटी बचाओ वाला योजना So HUL has taken a risk. If you buy one HUL product, 1 rupee of that product is that fund, and that fund is being used further for social responsibility. So customer also will identify HUL ka bit, and 1 rupee of that is being given to the society. So it is an opportunity, for them that it is given as a positive thing that our HUL is such. So I will buy more HUL products now. How it is an opportunity for the businesses?
90s में record के time अमेरिका वालों ने ड्रग कार्टेल्स को पैसा देके उनका ड्रग्स लेके मेडिसिन बनाते हैं वो भी तो बैड ही है
But bad hai, you cannot always say it was a, but you can look at the positive and who used to say here. Like the outcome was used for medication. It was not done to get someone addicted to drugs. So what's a bad thing? It was a problem situation which can utilize favor. Like
if business is to obtain in a society which is full of barriers and complicated problems, it may have greater chances of success. Therefore, it is argued that the business system should do something to keep each before it is confronted with a situation where its own survival is in danger due to numerous social illness. A society with fewer problems provides better environment for the
So better environment for business. Business environment means what? Business like for example, if we stall to work, there should be tea stall to work means there should be a proper environment for the tea stall to name its business. Like you should demand and supply, exactly demand and supply. And it should be placed in such a place which then they are playing the stall and you can decide that. And I put it right in front of all. The मुझे customers मिलेगा, but if I put it outside a railway station, office के बाहर है, so वहाँ पे सब क्या, I will get more businesses. So that I have to choose my business environment. That is a business environment. Putting outside a mall is not the appropriate business environment for the tea stall business. So in the same way, every business is to try or to make profits. It should have a conducive business environment, a favorable business environment, a business which is endangered already. Like I have my tea stall outside the business and it is not working. The survival of my business is endangered. So I will not be able to give the society a if I have put it in a favorable environment, like outside the office or outside the railway station, then my business can have favorable business environment. I will start with the office, and then I can give back to the society. How can the tea stall give back to the society? Tell me one social responsibility which you can follow. Service को उसका business है ना, एक social responsibility के बारे में छोटे-छोटे businesses in social responsibility. It's not only about the big like pollution and underage laborers work. There might be small things.
Resources.
करेंगे कैसे हो जाएगा?
ज़्यादा है resources pollution.
Pollution कहाँ पे?
Teacups.
Teacups एक बहुत बड़ा point है. That is the point where we can say जो tea stalls होते हैं, they can give back to the society. Like if you are using plastic cups or even paper cups कभी compost डाल के देखो, you will get a layer of plastic inside that. So the best is reusable steel cutlery or glass instruments. वो use करेंगे तो waste नहीं होगा. And the child which is coming out of the tea that is made, if it is directly being used into the compost bin and it is not sent in the waste, you are again helping it. The social responsibility part, isn't it? Whatever हम क्या इसके लिए but I don't think it's not that. Big cafes and malls I have seen biscuit cups and this. Yeah. Which means I will biscuit how there is no waste for you. Okay. And I think it's like an STC also. There is this chai ka dukaan table. Corner and this is they give chocolate bowls. Chocolate bowls they give you popcorn or something. Eat the popcorn, eat the bowls. There is no waste. Waste there. So that is better environment. Business responsibility.
some of the problems are
perpetuated means instigated, yeah, उसको पैदा किया गया
by business enterprises themselves and environmental pollution, unsafe workplaces, corruption in public use, and state practices of employment are some of these problems. Therefore, it is moral obligation of business to get involved in solving these problems instead of only expecting that other social institutions will deal with them on their own.
So इसमें जो mention किया है environmental pollution, unsafe workplaces. Safe workplaces, there might be workplaces wherein the women are not respected. It's not safe for the women to work. You cannot see that the women even face such kind of social harassment. So the workplace should take actions to make or to restrict rules or to put strict rules that people are not sexually abused in the workplace. So you need a safe environment so that they feel safe to come and work at some place. Corruption in public institutions. So you might have a list that is to issue the areas. Like in government offices, we can see. Case area about some income tax scandal that they have done. And the businesses pay the income tax officer a certain amount of the tax bidding, then so that he takes dispose करते. So पैसा खिला के इसको रखा करके. So सुना होगा ना कभी. So ये सब क्या है? Socially unacceptable activities. So you should stand on your convention. Every rule and regulations be followed in your business. So then you can stand your firm ground that I am not pay a single rupee bribe for doing. But you know, but some PIs, you have a license. So you have reached the split property, you have reached the proper ratio, proper ratio go describe there, go follow here. But still that governor तुम्हारा building को approval चाहिए, so you have to use this one series. So you can stand your ground and I have done it properly. I will not pay you a single rupees. So you are fulfilling a social responsibility by not paying bribes. Understood? And when I was doing my senior articleship, I used to go for this cases in the sales tax department. So just to get an appointment also, they would ask me. Stand there for 3 hours, but so I reached to stand there. I did my social responsibility by not getting bribe at the public distribution. Understood? These were the arguments for social responsibility. पैसा देंगे तो क्या मतलब है ना? You stand in your queue, wait for your turn. And कभी भगवान को भी रिश्वत देके मिल रहा है तो क्या ही मतलब? I don't even understand the speak of say that God is everywhere, He is omnipresent. You cannot believe that God will be also there only in 100%. He's everywhere. He's individual also. It's arguments against social responsibility. These were the arguments for social responsibility. So I would convince that we should take a social responsibility. Somewhere an argument against legacy. ये कोई फिक्स करता है कि
Profit maximum
violation of profit maximization. अलग है क्या?
नहीं
violation of profit and expectation. According to
this argument, business exists only for profit maximization. Therefore, any proper systems against this objective, in fact, it has led to its associated responsibilities to maximize profit increase.
okay, so the main objective of business is profit. So any talk about the social responsibility is this, like where the business continued, I am here to plan my classes. I don't care about the social responsibility. So what would, can you give me an example of what would be an acceptable social activities? Basic generation, like the students are usually placed outside the classes. So the classes can impose rules regarding waste to the dustbins. It's a very social responsibility. And then so I will know, I will say there the little bit house.
हाँ अभी तक बंद ही था अरे बताइए
I don't care what the sheets. I don't care if they go over hard. I don't care if they gather together outside my classes and get drugs. I don't care if they gather together and fun. If they gather together in my classroom and bring a gun to the classroom, I don't care. My aim is that students should come. I should get my names. I don't care if they understand it. My aim is to earn profit. This is the argument against social responsibility. कोई भी social responsibility वाली interfere नहीं करना, कुछ profit कमाना है, ये है the main objective of running business. I want to earn money. I want to earn profits. Okay, it's burden on consumers.
It is argued that social responsibilities like pollution, control, and environmental protection are very costly and often require huge financial investment. In such circumstances, businesses are directly share this burden of social responsibility by charging higher prices from the consumers instead of bearing it themselves. Therefore, it is unfair to tax the consumers in the name of social responsibility.
One good point. That they would market consumers. For example, there are these textile industries which I can say they are using textile बनने में they use artificial colors and chemicals. But there are some nature friendly colors like indigo dye and all those colors. So उससे क्या होता है? And they come on a costlier side. So ultimately, when the produce or when the textiles manufacturer or dresses manufacturer is manufacturing such natural colors, they charge you compared to artificially colored shirt or dress. Okay. So the burden of buying those colors are directly on the consumers. Consumers because favorable color use in manufacturing product and you are charging exorbitant prices just to sell that product because you are that. So you are following social responsibility, that is true. But ultimately the consumers are bearing the brunt of it. Naturally artificial color ऐसे भी होता है इतना महंगा like there are many uses of factories which can be carried to you or like तो तुम्हारे घर में स्कॉच ब्राइट चीज होता है तुम वॉश कर dishes ऐसे ग्रीन कलर का कुछ स्पॉन्ज रहता है तो it is a plastic उसमें बहुत सारे plastics रहते हैं there are options available it's not for थोड़ा कॉस्टली रहेगा मैं कितना आदत so you will get it at rupees 2 rupees still a reasonable price but there are certain companies might be selling rubber or some sort of paste which is an exorbitant price today for 10 times of the normal foreign stuff duration is compared to the other one. So if your home is saying switch to this or you're having wash dishes, you can switch to this. In fact, all these can start as well. Social responsibility basically starts at home. All the things that is being used at home. So detergent, they are all the toilet cleaners. So there are many eco-friendly options available at home that you can use instead of this. Like, so let's say you go down a you can use natural soap for that. All these, there are many options available. Which you have lots of time and energy after your exam. You look how to take switches at home. Okay. So the burden on you were talking about the burden on consumers, like how the exorbitant prices are being introduced. So that 10 times more than the regular price. The demand for the plastic or the favorable item was compared to a social one. It is an upgrade against the social response. Lack of social response. Also, problems cannot be solved the way problem. In fact, this is why we do not have the necessary understanding of failure to solve the problems. Therefore, according to this argument, the problems can be solved by others by experience. So when a result was started, like we have seen the previous chapters, this is still found that the business will start with the capital and the objective is called profit. They might not be having that much knowledge about the social responsibility or the social serviceable activities that can be attached to your business. And then China store का knowledge ही नहीं है. और if I put a cafe, let us look at a book perspective. Cafe डाला है, restaurant डाला. So I don't have knowledge about social services or social activities. It's a restaurant. This business can happen. I have employed cooks. I am serving the best quality food to the consumers. And I am serving the best ambience to them so that they will come to the restaurant. But what is the social responsibility that can be followed? Keeping all the waste together, not segregating the waste. So these are all the activities. So what I need to do, I don't know what social services can be done. So I wanted a specialized person who will look after arranging my social responsibilities. Understood? So I will appoint a person who will tell me. So you need to segregate your waste. So this is your first step. All the food waste will be removed from the plates before the plates are disposed. Okay. So and then we can start with just outside your kitchen. So all the food waste. There is no wet waste being given to the government banks. Okay. Or then next one is mostly the restaurants they use property setting. But if I'm running a catering business, so I can keep the facility of giving reusable steel cutlery and steel plates in my catering service. कोई भी function हो रहा है हमारे घर में, बर्थडे पार्टी हो रहा है, तो अपने small level पे सोच, घर पे एक बर्थडे पार्टी कर रहे हो, you want to give cake, some snacks, you are paper plates and plastic cups or paper cups to serve this cold drinks. So how can you switch it? You can say, let us decide that because given the property sets, classes they हैं जो घर पे classes हैं, who would watch on this? Better I will use paper cups and paper plates. You should offer your head and wash. It is not in this case. That is first question responsibility. Isn't it? So, and what else can you do? Like, five, you need to clothes and shoot all the time. Yeah, we this the less clothes waste of generating. Isn't it? So, we finished the cycle. So, yeah, I was talking about that. So, we should be appointing specialized agencies to get to the business social responsibility part. Lack of broad promise.
Here the argument is that public gender does not like business or institution. That's therefore business cannot operate successfully because of lack of public confidence and population in solving social problems.
The lack of broad public support is one big. Like I had mentioned about this actual support in Padao, maybe by child, whatever it is. So उससे क्या होता है ना? Some people may have trust in that organization. Stuff on this product, which is going to Beti Bachao Beti Padhao Yojana. But some people might be there the paisa is actually going there. Is it a fraud or is it a scam? Trust which should be there by the public is not there. So the first and the foremost thing that this is to when they want to post responsibility like this is to gain the public confidence. That's good. Public confidence in their initiative of responsibility will not be a success. If the public is then you can see that when we go for shopping, this box the children's education or for the blind people or something like that. How many times have you got to give that? So I think someone may feel, yeah, this is not true. Year over year, the last Monday, everybody will be less up there and back. That's what let us put money. So how are they going to gain public confidence? They are going to share some spreads or videos of recipes and by donation. I don't share their public confidence. If they are actually doing this, they are actually using this money that they are mentioning, then it should contribute It will help or it will encourage the customer that actually started feel confident that things you could do it for their houses. I would give a 10 rupees one day, they don't want to pay you. But if they're actually doing this responsibility, it is a big, many people contributing together, it will be a big amount of the social activity that is going to be taken up. Understood. Next one to ask as point.
Their responsibility and learning, the responsibility towards employees, responsibility towards the company, responsibility towards.
So once we are done with this, still, आगे भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, आगे cover नहीं होती।
And it is your
Okay. Yeah, the next lecture onwards, one hour extra this portion of half an hour. 3 hours lecture, 1 hour. 2 hours. Half hour सारा हो गया. 2 hours carry speaking.
So that's why like I made some silly mistakes there on the reading part.
Sulimala, quite a lot of silly mistakes. About 50% questions you got wrong.
Yeah, ma'am. Like
Hmm.
I really was made some silly mistakes. Like but it was, for the
What time is your test tomorrow?
ma'am 10 a.m.
10 a.m. So
Yes,
make
ma'am.
sure you sleep well
Yeah, ma'am.
and you can concentrate.
Yes, ma'am. I'll
Right?
make sure of
You can't make such silly mistakes. Listening, you have done pretty well. You've got 27, that is 85% of the answers you've got correct.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
your score is 27. Just a moment. Jyoti ma'am, are you there?
Ma'am, Anushka is there.
Okay, Anushka. Okay, there's a student having a problem in logging in. This is Varshini. Can you please provide her with the link so she can log in?
क्या नाम बताया मैम आपने?
Varshini.
वर्षिली.
हाँ.
ओके, मैं चेक करती हूँ मैम.
हाँ, ग्रुप में टोफल ग्रुप में होगा उनका. Or you can send me the link or put it up in the chat so I can share it with her.
हाँ, मैं देख. मैम उसको क्लासरूम 8 में ज्वाइन करने बोली है ना?
हाँ, वो बोला था पर उसका पता नहीं, some problem she is having.
ठीक है, मैं देखती हूँ मैम.
Okay, so girl, now listening is okay. I hope you can keep it up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now your total score has come up to 81.
So I need 19 more, right?
You need at least 90. Now coming to your speaking.
Yeah, my speaking was bad. I think.
Speaking, what happened is your task one, you did okay. Your format was okay. You had your 2 points, 1, 2, but they were not very well developed,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
more
Yeah.
or less okay.
Okay.
Now coming to the integrated task, the problem is that you are just talking about the topic and giving the details.
Yes, ma'am.
But
Examples.
like you are not like in the task 2 where you have to talk about the student's opinion.
Yes, ma'am.
You've just said that this is, I think your question was something like, how will some changes in the college radio station help or something of that sort, right? So you've just given the points. Now we don't know whether the points are coming from the passage or from the student, whether student agrees or disagrees. Nothing is clear. It's all very vague.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
don't do that. You have to talk about you have to be able to tell them what uh, what exactly you are talking about, whether the students, what is the student's opinion, whether the student is agreeing or not, everything should be clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second. Yeah? Yeah, good afternoon, Saransh. Good afternoon, Varshini. Yes, Varshini, sorry, I think I bossed up the link.
It's all right, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just discussing the speaking task, and I think everyone is making the same mistake. So please be careful. Number one, in the independent speaking task, you have to be very careful about your structure. 2 points should be clear. Firstly, secondly, don't begin straight away with I think so, right? Paraphrase the question and then go on to in my opinion, right? I think you people are not using the template properly. Do you have a template in place? Have you written it down? Mugged it up? Varshini, do you have your template?
Ma'am, I have it, but then when this timer starts, I mess it up.
So that's the problem. No, you have to be able to remember the template. Now, when you are, that's why I said you have enough time to prepare. Now, even though they will be giving you just 15 seconds, but you know that this is the question number 1 that is going to come up. You first write down your template, right? Even before they start giving you the question, you know, task number 1, speaking, independent task, this is my template. So write down the first lines of the template so you don't botch it up. Firstly, secondly has to be there. So that gives clarity to your answer. Okay. So if you don't have that, you are sure to botch up your answer. You'll get confused. Now you won't remember even the examiner won't be able to make out where you began with your first point and where it ended. Right? So firstly and secondly has to be there. So first sentence will be what? Paraphrasing the question. Second sentence will be, in my opinion, or according to me. Third sentence will begin with firstly. Fourth sentence will be an example. Fifth sentence again will be secondly. Sixth sentence will be an example. Now, how you expand is up to you, right? But please follow the template for clarity. Otherwise, your answers become very vague. All your answers have been vague and the development becomes a little botchy, right? And don't repeat a point. 2 points should be clearly mentioned. Okay, this is for task number 1. Now, speaking task number 2, what is speaking task number 2? Saransh, you have to remember this very clearly. Task number 1, 2, 3, 4. You should know what it is. It will be in the same order no matter what. So, what is task number 2?
Integrated.
What integrated?
We'll get a passage to read and then audio also. So we have
What audio? Passage conversation.
yes.
Student's opinion. That is task number 2. You have to remember this is the task number 2. So, what is your template for task number 2? According to according to the school, according to the principal, according to the committee, according to the department, whatever comes in the passage, yeah, that you must have written down, and you just give the point, what is or according to the announcement made, what it is about. 1 sentence, yeah. That's the first point that you have to bring up. First sentence. Second sentence, the student agrees or disagrees to to the announcement or to the article, whatever it is. Yeah. Then she brings up 2 points. Then the responses to point number 1, response to point number 2. Are you people taking your notes properly? Are you? Or you forgotten how to take your notes?
Ma'am.
How are you taking your notes? Now for task number, speaking task number 2, you have 2 columns, remember? Yeah. When we talk about 2 columns, what did we say? What did we say when we spoke about 2 columns? Who can tell me? Varshini? Notes format?
We divide the page into 2 columns. In one column, we have the passage notes. The other one, we have the videos. And when there are 2 students communicating, one person's response to the other person's question.
Yeah. So it will be something like, just a second. So it will be something like this, your 2 columns. Here you will have the passage. Here you will have the conversation. Yeah. So what is the topic of the passage? Will come here. Point number 1, point number 2, and if there's a point number 3. So you have to write it down. Passage is not going to come up again. When you come to the conversation, agree or disagree, whichever way. Yeah, sorry. Then response to point number 1, response to point number 2, response to point number 3. This, your format for taking notes is ready even before the question comes up. So you know task number 2, this is your format. Right? If you don't have the format, if you are going to, then you may miss out on the points or you may miss out on the topic. And when you are speaking, it should be clear that the passage is talking about this, or this is the announcement, and what is the student saying. Firstly, secondly, thirdly is very important. Right? So that is, if you don't have that, you are going to have a very vague answer. Just a moment. So remember this template that we had? So you begin with, according to the passage announcement flyer, the university plans to, or the department plans to, or the department announces that, or proposes to, whatever it is. Yeah. So you will get the clue from the passage. Or the school intends to, or the passage or announcement is about, or is the university is considering, whatever is the topic given to you. Then next you go into the student agrees or disagrees. Now you have to remember that you don't expand too much on the what the announcement is about. You just say the announcement is about this, and the university or the whatever body thinks that first point, second point. And if you think that that is going to take too much of time, forget about it. Just say what it is about. Second, then you come to the student agrees or disagrees with the school or management or the proposal. Yeah. Or opposes it or supports it, as the case may be. Then you come to the first point. Firstly, the student believes that. Then here you put in the point made in the point made by the committee or the proposal, etc. So the first point, the student believes that, say if you have the committee wants to play music, or as in the maybe the test that you people had done, the business studies department at the state university has announced a program to complete 1 semester work of experience in a local corporation. Yeah, that was the topic sentence. Now the students believe, what does the student believe? That the work experience is not going to develop leadership and organization skills as proposed. And then you come to the student's opinion. Instead, then what the student thinks. Yeah. And then you give the example that the student has given. Right. So you can begin with, now the firstly should be, or the first point that the student makes is that the first reason that the student opposes this proposal is that, right? So, and you have to give the comparison. It's not just what the student says, but the comparison has to be there. If the comparison is missing, you are going to lose out on points. Instead of a 3, you will come down to 2. And I think all of you have done that and you have got just 2 for this task. Yes? Saransh?
Yes, ma'am.
Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then you pick up the second point. Secondly, the student believes that, or the second reason for disagreeing is that, or secondly, the student feels that. So there should be a variation. If the first time you say believes that, the second time you can say feels that or thinks that. But this should be there. Okay. If this is missing, then your answer becomes vague. There is no clarity. And then the third, if there's a third point, then you go into the third point and say finally. Now, don't go into a conclusion if you don't have time. You have to finish within the 1 minute. Otherwise, and anything that is beyond 1 minute is not going to be recorded. It doesn't matter if you have 5 seconds left, but you should finish within that 1 minute. Okay? Got it? So you have to take your notes before the question comes up. So you remember, task number 2, passage, there's a proposal, announcement, something of that sort. What is it about? 2 points. Usually it is 2 points. It could be 3 points, usually 2 points. Then student's opinion. So you are ready with your table format, right? Now, when you come to the so when you come to the answering part, you must have your template in place. Use the same template every time when you are practicing. That's why I said use the same template every time, so you don't have to be thinking of a template or you don't botch it up. The template gives you confidence to format your answer. Right? Got it? Okay. Now coming to task number 3. What is task number 3? First tell me. Varshini, what's task number 3?
Listening to a lecture
Hmm.
and answering based on it.
Task number 3.
Ma'am, just the audio, right?
No, that's task number 4. You should know, that's why I said you should know in the speaking section, you should know what task is what, so that you are prepared even before the question comes up. So what is task number 3? Try to remember. A passage on a concept and a short lecture, giving examples to explain the concept. Do you remember now? So when you have a passage on a concept and So this is your task number. So when you have a passage on a concept and when you come to task number 3, again, you have a column format for taking notes. You have to be ready to take your notes so that you don't waste time when you have to plan your answer, right? So you need time for reading. Before you start reading and before the question comes up, ready with your task number 3 format. So here is the passage. Here is your lecture. What is the passage about? The concept of the passage. Then point number 1, point number 2. If there is a point number 3, then 3. Then what does the lecture give you? Explain it. Explains point number 1 with the help of example. Right? Similarly, explains point number 2 with example, point number 3 with example. So this is your format, ready even before the task comes up. I hope you remember. You have to know by heart what you have to do. Right? So when you are at the center and there are too many people around, everyone doing the speaking task, too much noise around, don't be distracted. You know exactly what is required from you. Right? Now, any task number 3, you have a concept. Say, for example, you have this concept about the camera shots. Now, do you have to explain the entire concept when you begin? How do you begin? I hope you can see the PDF now. Yeah. Okay. So first thing is introducing the main topic of the passage and lecture. Yeah. So you can say the passage talks about this specific term. Yeah. So maybe if I take the test 1, I think Garv hasn't done it, so maybe he doesn't remember, but other people will recollect. It talks about an establishing shot. Yeah. What does the establishing shot do? Establishing shot shows imagery in the beginning of a scene to provide context to the rest of the scene. That's all you have to say about the concept. Yeah. Then you move on to the lecture. The lecture explains the concept with the help of examples. Right? So the passage discusses, or if you think you have enough time and you can pull it off, you can just explain, give the 2 points in the concept. Yeah. So now, first of all, the establishing shot communicates background information. Secondly, it establishes mood or feeling of the scene. Just 2 key points. Nothing else goes into your first part of the answer. Then you come to the lecture. The professor defines this with the help of examples. Yeah, explains with the help of examples. Then you go on to what the professor is talking about. Point number 1, point number 2. And how do you do it? The professor talks about, or if there is a clear example, then professor uses the example of this, give the example to explain the concept of establishing shot, setting up the context or background. Right? So that's just an example. So this is what you will do. The professor uses the example to explain this. So the example comes in the middle and the rest of it after that. Right? Then you get to the next point. Then another example the professor gives is that or the professor uses a second example, explain the example, which explains or to explain the second point. That's all that you need. If there's a third point, then you use a third point, and you can give a conclusion if there is time, otherwise not required. Yeah, or you can just say this, the professor thus explains the concept of establishing short, or whatever the specific is. So you have to be very specific. You have to have your format of the answer. Structure of the answer in TOEFL is extremely important. You will not get your marks if your structure is not correct. Yeah, the very point of preparing. So if you don't have a structure and you have given your answer just as you feel like, the examiner will know you are not prepared. You don't know what TOEFL is expecting of you. Okay, so be very careful when you are go through the guidelines at the end of the book. Mark your get down your template, write it down, mug it up. Okay, I think you will be practicing some more today. Varshini, are you taking the exam tomorrow?
No, ma'am.
No? When are you taking the exam?
I'm not sure.
Okay, fine. At least you have time. Saransh, you are also taking it tomorrow? Saransh, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you taking the exam tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hello, Anushka. Sorry, I didn't see you. Okay, so, oh, sorry. Anushka ma'am is the coordinator. Sorry. Okay, so Saransh, I missed out what you were saying. Sorry. Are you taking the exam tomorrow or later on?
Tomorrow, ma'am.
Tomorrow. Okay, so this is extremely important for you.
Excuse me, teacher. आपने आवाज दी क्या मुझे, teacher?
No, sorry. I just mistook you for a student. I was wondering who is the student.
Okay.
It's okay. Okay, so now when you come to the template, so this is a template you can just about, this is the final template you can use. From the reading passage, you can say the concept is described as, the professor illustrates or demonstrates this particular concept. You can, there's a name of the concept by giving two examples. In the first example, in the second example, and the conclusion would be optional if you have time. So write this down. This is exactly how you will begin every sentence or every point. Right? Saransh, you look a little blank. What happened? Are you confused? So this is exactly how you are going to frame your task number 3. Okay. Now coming to task number 4. What is task number 4? Saransh, can you tell me what is speaking task number 4?
Yes, ma'am. You get to hear an audio.
And what is the structure of the audio? You need to know the structure of the audio to take down notes.
For the answer. What is it talking about?
So
And
the topic?
Yes.
And?
Topic, and then whatever she gives, whatever the author gives example. And
anything else?
And like whatever she explains about the topic.
So when you're taking down notes, what will you do? So how do you take down notes? Who will tell me how to take down notes? Saransh? How would you take down notes for the for task number 4?
Like I told, first I will write the what it's about, what the audio is about.
So you have your concept.
Yes.
Yeah, the topic, what it is. Then
Then
second,
she'll explain about the concept.
first point number 1, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So explanation and then example. Very important to get the example.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you have number 3 will be point number 2 and followed by example. Right? So remember that you need to get your details right. If you don't have your details right, you will be missing out on important points. Yeah. Now, how do you begin this? You can see the PDF. Is it shared?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now this is about a lecture and you have to refer to the lecture. Now, anywhere, even in task 3, should be clear that which part of your answer is from the passage, which part of your answer is from the lecture. So the lecture uses examples to explain this concept. Yeah, or the lecture talks about. Now, this is not something that you are given a topic and you are speaking. Your responses seem like that. There's no reference to the lecturer. Yeah. So you have to say the lecturer talks about this. And then according to whether it's a male voice or female voice, you can use he or she. Correct? So in the lecture, the professor talks about, you give the concept. He or she gives 2 or 3 examples to illustrate the concept. Right? Always the lecture will have examples. Now you should know whether there are 2 examples or 3 examples. Right? So say we have the what concept did we have? I think in the first one it was about the lecture was talking about some plants protecting themselves. Yeah. Online.
Ma'am, it's about the plant defense.
Defense system of the plant. And so how the plants protect themselves. And what were the details? Anyone remembers?
The physical features, chemical defenses, the plants and the other plants.
Yeah, and you have to be very clear. Firstly, secondly should not be missed out on. If you miss out on the firstly, secondly, you start thinking, okay, what was this? Where did I go into the second point? Even the examiner won't be able to make out where you went to the second point. So two examples. Yeah. So you can begin with the lecturer or the professor talks about this. The professor discusses this in the lecture, giving 2 examples or 3 examples as the case may be. Now, when you are summarizing, now the question usually says summarize with and explain this, right? So then again here you have firstly, secondly, thirdly. So the professor uses 2 examples in the first example. So this is the final template that you can use, simplest template to keep your answer in the proper structure. In the first example, you explain, and please get your facts correct when you are explaining, right? Whether the insect eats the leaf or sits on the leaf should be clear, right? So if you don't get your facts right, you lose out on your points. Remember that. So you're taking down your notes is extremely important. You can look at your notes while you are speaking. You don't have to look at the screen. There's no video. They're not going to figure out where you are looking while speaking, as long as your voice is clear and it is getting recorded. Okay. So in the first example, explain it. In the second example, what the professor is talking about, explain it. Yeah. And if you have time, these are the two examples to explain this concept, just a variation of your introduction. And here, one thing you have to remember, don't summarize the entire lecture, just what the question is asking you. If you answer the question, you will be able to structure it properly. So this is task number 4. I hope you will remember. Right? Yes, Saransh? So when you, Saransh, when you are doing the speaking task, what difficulty were you facing?
At the starting, I started fumbling.
Why were you fumbling? Did you have your template? Did you know how to begin?
I knew the template, but I was not able to fit in at that moment.
So the lecture is about, you can begin with that. You can talk about the concept. The lecture, like if you're talking about this particular one, which you did, test number 1. What was the lecture about? I think it was about, yeah, as we said, the lecture was about plants protecting themselves from insects, plants using defenses to protect themselves from insects. And there are 2 types of defenses, chemical defense and physical defense. Yeah, that is all that goes into your first, to the beginning or introduction of your answer. Yeah. Then you come straight away to the professor uses 2 examples to demonstrate this. First example, second example. That's all you have to remember. Yeah. In the first example, you begin with that. In the second, so that's why I said always write down your template before you even take down your notes. So when you are speaking, you in one page on top you have your template, below that you have your notes. So you just read out the template, fill in the blanks with the points from your notes. That's all you have to do. Yeah, that makes it simpler and it's easy to form your sentences and you don't fumble or lose your confidence. Okay. Now, this speaking task is extremely important. Remember, you should not get less than 25 in your speaking task. You still have a long way to go. Yeah, Varshini, you still have time to practice, but unfortunately, Garv and Saransh have to do it tomorrow. So at least you remember, write down on a piece of paper right now, after we finish the lecture, write down your templates, task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4. Yeah. And take another piece of paper, use both sides or 4 different pieces of paper to write down your, say first one, you don't need notes taking. For 2, 3, 4, your columns or your sheet for taking down notes. You will not carry these papers to the examination hall, but you know that this is what I have to do the moment I get the task 2. So the moment you finish with task 1, you are ready with your format to take down your notes for task 2. The moment you finish speaking for task 2, you are ready with the format for task 3. That's how you go. Not even 1 second to lose in between. Right? So your confidence level has to be very high. If your confidence level is not high, you will be losing out on your seconds. And every single second is important. Yeah. But remember that they'll be reading out, the question will come, the question will be read down, instructions read out. That time you have to use to compose yourself. Right? Okay, so this was the speaking tasks. Now coming to the writing tasks. Now I find for the integrated writing task, okay, I'll come to you only. So Varshini, you have gone through the review of the test that I sent you.
Yes, ma'am.
The writing tasks have been shared with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what did you find in your writing task?
In the first writing task about the passage, I had to, it didn't
I
land.
think this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what was wrong in this? Can you tell me?
Spellings and a few
Yes,
places.
spellings, of course, are wrong.
And then
There are a lot of typos.
yes.
And you have to remember that any word that appears in the passage, you should not get that spelling wrong,
Okay.
no matter how difficult it is.
Okay.
Check it, recheck it.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So you have to recheck any word or the name or any word that comes up. Yeah. Now, what else went wrong in this? First of all, it is too short.
Okay.
You have to have how much?
150.
What is the word limit?
150 to 225.
150 to 225. Yeah. Now, you have just 2 lines for each point. Would that be enough?
I need to add more.
You need to add more. Yeah. Now, secondly, okay, what we'll do is we'll just read this out. Yeah, for everyone. Everyone is making the same type of mistakes. You've written, from the passage, it can be concluded that R. robustus is a small mammal about the size of a cat. The legs of R. robustus appear much more suited for scavenging than for hunting since they were short. Lastly, the dinosaur bones inside the stomach of the robustus didn't have any bite marks on them. This suggests that robustus found an unguarded dinosaur nest with eggs and simply swallowed the eggs. Right? So you have more or less written down everything from the passage to begin with. Yeah, I'll come to this. Now, the professor states that though our robustus had short legs, they could have chased and hunted baby dinosaurs. This also supports the idea that the R. robustus were hunters. Secondly, she says that though they had short legs, they had an intense speed, which is compared to the speed of mammalian daredevil and could hunt their prey. Some structural problem over here. Okay, thirdly, she says that though there weren't any teeth marks, the R. robustus could have swallowed the baby dinosaurs, which would have been less than half of the R. robustus size. Right? Now here what you have done is you have just given the points from the lecture. Yeah. But what was the question? What do the questions usually say? The question says, summarize the points made in the lecture, being sure to explain how they respond to the specific points made in the reading passage. Does your response fulfill the requirements of the question? No, right? You just gave the points from the passage and the points from the lecture. Where's the comparison?
Yeah.
Comparison is missing, and comparison is the key to this writing task. If you haven't compared, and you haven't, if you haven't compared, your answer is not complete. Right? So, what is the structure that you need to follow? First of all, don't use the entire first paragraph just to describe what comes in from the passage. You have to begin with that the lecturer disagrees with the points raised in the passage about R. robustus being a scavenger. That is what the passage says. Yeah. So disagrees with the points raised in the passage. Yeah. Then you go straight to the first point given in the passage, right? You can say that like in this case, what can you say first? How will you begin your first point? So this is in front of you. You have your points. Now you have to reframe the entire thing. So how can you begin your point number one? Now again, here you have some important information missing. The passage was about that the arbutus was smaller than the city cursor. Yeah, that's what it was. I don't have it online because I have the text in print, so I can show it to you. But it was about the okay. Now I think Saransh had it. Okay. So this is Saransh's essay. Saransh, I think this was number 2. Just a second. I'll just open up Saransh's task number 1. Okay. Can you see Saransh's task number 1? I hope it's visible. Nod your head at least if you can see it. Yes, Saransh, please respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when Saransh is talking about his essay, the lecture talked about a dinosaur, R. robustus, who is said to be an active hunter of the other dinosaur as its stomach contained remains of another dinosaur. The lecture defined robustus being said as a hunter by stating 3 points. Now the whole thing is about the lecture, but where is a comparison with the passage? Yeah, can you figure out whether there is a comparison or not? Now you've got the fully grown Citicosaur, but unfortunately you got the spelling wrong. The C doesn't exist. Even in the passage, if you see, the C is not there. So get your spellings right. Now you say that firstly, our robustus dinosaurs are too small to hunt a fully grown Citicosaur dinosaur. Now, where is this coming from? Is this point coming from the lecture or from the passage? Does this have any clarity?
No, ma'am.
No, right? We cannot figure out. Now, if the examiner were to read this, there would be utter confusion, right? But they could feed themselves by hunting baby psittacos or just simply feeding on psittacorus eggs. Now, are both these points from the lecture or both these points from the passage? There's no clarity, right? So here's where you lose your marks. So you have to have clarity. Firstly, according to the lecture, the dinosaurs are too small to hunt fully grown psittacos, or according to the passage? That has to be there. Then, if this is from the passage, then when the lecturer responds, does the lecturer agree or disagree? That needs to come in. Yeah. If the lecturer refutes the point, what is the point raised by the lecturer should be clear. So all your points should be in the format So when you're talking about, this is the writing task 1, right? Which now when we had spoken, now this you have to remember that because when you are writing, the how, where you are going to lose your points should be in your mind, right? So you are going to lose your points where if you are not accurate in your development. So your selected important information should be there. If your organization of the paragraphs is not proper, if your transitions are not proper, you will lose your marks. And your sentence structure and vocabulary, that is the language use, the grammar, that is very important. Whether your choice of words can be, it may be that you are using simple language, perfectly fine, but your sentence structure and grammar should be correct. Yeah, you're going to lose a lot of marks if that is not correct, and your spellings, of course. So now when you're coming to the template, what do? First paragraph will be the main topic of both the reading passage and lecture is whether the dinosaur or the R. robustus was a scavenger or hunter, right? Then, so you're just about paraphrasing the question. Then to begin with, what do? You summarize the main point of the lecture. How are we going to do it? According to the lecture or based on the lecture. No, this is I will get to the okay, we'll stick to this. So your introduction is both this and this are what is the topic that is dealt with in the passage and the lecture. Then the lecture disagrees or agrees. That comes up. Yeah. So the lecturer casts doubts on the claims made in the article or the passage. That is your second sentence. And if that is missing, your main point of your answer is missing. So this is very important. The lecturer casts doubts on the claims made in the passage. Or if it is agrees to, then you say the lecturer agrees to or supports the claims made in the passage. Then you go on to body paragraph number 1, that is the first point. First of all, the author points out that this, and then the lecturer maintains a different view or refutes the argument, and then you go on to explain what the lecturer is saying. So your beginning of the sentence should tell the examiner, okay, this person has understood the question and has got the points clear. So every paragraph you begin with the author states that, and then the lecturer refutes or disagrees. And if you have 3 points, you use 3 different words. First one, you can say disagrees. Second one, you can say does not agree, refutes. And the third one, you can say contends or is of a different opinion if you can't think of any other word. Yeah. So your paragraph structure is you can pick up any one of this. So the focus of the main point, first of all, the author points out that, then the point is challenged by the lecturer, and then you go on to add details and examples from the lecture. Or the lecture counters the point, and with an explanation, go on with the explanation. Then the second point, secondly, the lecturer contains the point made by the author. Or you can say the article notes that, but the lecturer rebutes this argument. So this is what you can use. Pair it up. The article notes that, or the passage notes that, or passage says that, the lecturer rebuts this argument. Or if you don't remember rebuts, however disagrees, or just disagrees. Yeah. Or if it is agreement, then you say agrees. Then she suggests that. So the points given by the lecturer. Coming to the third paragraph, finally the author states that, yeah, and the lecturer on the other hand posits that or says that, continue with what the lecturer says. So this is a format that is absolutely essential. If you miss out on this, you will end up getting a 2 and 3 in your writing. So each writing task 2 and 3 means what? It's going to scale up to just about 15 or 16, not more than that. Whereas you require 25. So if you have to get 25, you must get a 4. At least a 4 out of 5 you have to get. And a proper structure, the correct points from the passage and the lecture will get you a 4. Okay? Saransh, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So now you know where you are going wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Okay, now Garv,
Yes, ma'am.
you're there?
Yes.
This is
ma'am.
your task number 1, which you did today.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah? The
Yeah.
first thing, any noun, when you're talking about a name, you have to use a capital letter.
Yeah, ma'am. I realized it late. Like,
Hmm?
when he was taking the copy, I realized that
So
every
when you are
name was
typing,
small.
remember that any typing. So did you, you should have enough time to revise. So when you are revising, at least these will stare into your face. Even if you
Yes,
give
ma'am.
2 minutes to revise, you can at least edit this out.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because this gives a very bad impression to the examiner. And
Yeah.
spelling mistakes are very important.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Now you at least had your, you began with according to the lecturer and passage talks about. What does that mean? Yeah, if your very first sentence is like that, the examiner won't even want to read the first impression is, what type of language is this? Right? So get your grammar right, the sentence structure according to the lecturer and passage, or both the lecturer and passage talk about the accuracy of Jane Austen's paintings.
Okay, ma'am.
Right?
Yes.
Whether it was of her teens or not. That's it.
Yes.
Right? Then where is the opinion? Second sentence will be, the lecturer, however, does that agree? I think this one was about supporting the points. Right?
Yeah.
The
Yes,
lecturer supports the points raised in the passage. That should be clear. Whether it supports or opposes should be clear.
Yes.
Okay? Your
Yes.
second sentence is missing over here. Now you say the first the author contends that. Now it is not contents, it is contends. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
That, and now your sentence formation and grammar, you have to be very careful.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, contains the fact that in 1882 gave permission to use the portrait, but the lecturer rebuts the argument. Okay, so here it was rebutting the argument. So when you're talking about rebuts the argument, it should be clear in the first part whether it rebuts or not.
Okay, ma'am.
Right?
Yeah.
Now you have your firstly, secondly, thirdly, you have brought in what the author says and what the lecturer says. You have brought in whether it rebuts or agrees to. But somehow your answer structure is fine. You have to work on your facts and your spellings.
Yes, ma'am.
Facts, spellings, and grammar. Three
Okay.
things. Yeah. So after you have written, did you read what you have written? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
No, no, like it was like in the final moments, like the computer was.
So that's why you have to be able to manage your time.
Yes, ma'am.
If you had even gone through it once, you would have been able to correct lots of mistakes.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So remember that you need to correct what you read.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the templates are clear.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Now coming to the independent writing, I hope you have 15 minutes more, about 10 minutes more. Anyone
Yes,
has
ma'am.
any class?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now when you're coming to the independent writing task, again, the format of your essay is extremely important. Yeah. So a question is always given to you. You have to express your opinion. Yeah. So you don't begin your essay with, I think that, or in my opinion. Varshini, you've been doing the same thing again.
Yeah, ma'am.
Never do that. If nothing else comes to your mind, at least paraphrase the question and begin with the question. Don't write the question in the exact words, but at least paraphrase it, begin with that. Then go on to your opinion. And never write the first point of your essay in the very first paragraph. First point of the essay is always the second paragraph. Right? So you have to be very careful about that. I'll just about take up in some. So, Saransh, this is your first writing task. Sorry about the name that was sent to me. Okay, now here you began with, I disagree with the statement. Yeah. Instead of beginning with, I disagree, you
And
first.
the word file is not visible.
Okay, not visible. Just a minute. Okay, is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now you said, I disagree with the statement that technology has made children less creative than they were in the past. Yeah. Now, instead of I disagree with, you have to begin with rephrasing the question. Right? So what was the question? I think the question was something like, yeah, it was, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Technology has made children less creative than they were in the past. So you can rephrase the question, begin with that. Now you can say some people believe that technology has made children less creative than they were in the past. That would be exactly the words of the question. Avoid that. Right? So how would you rephrase this? Saransh, can you attempt to rephrase this?
Like you said, I can start with that some people believe that technology has made children less creative, and
Now,
others.
the technology has made children less creative than they were in the past. Are the exact words from the question. So if you were to change it a little bit, how would that be possible? Or you can begin with a particular statement and then go on to this. Yeah, you can begin with something like technology is an integral part of our life and it has influenced creativity also. But I disagree with the statement that technology has led to children being less creative than in the past? Just a little bit here and there you change, and you that will lead to not just copying down the question, right? So a little bit. Then you can go on to I disagree, like you can say that I disagree with the statement that. Now you said reality is just the opposite of it. Evolving technology offers children to explore more ideas in terms of creativity. Now this gives the examiner the idea that you are going to expand on these points, right? Okay, now when you are expanding your paragraphs, your paragraph 1 is huge, your paragraph 2 is tiny. You have to make sure that both the paragraphs are equally developed. Now what happens is you are writing your first paragraph, you go on and on and on till the time you realize that you don't have enough time to write the second paragraph. So what do you do when any paragraph you're writing, limit it to about 5 lines. So it's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 lines. If you end over here, then you can expand the next paragraph better.
Okay, ma'am.
And now here, if you see the examples that you have used in the first paragraph, some of them are better suited for your second point, right? So your examples should match the idea that you have written. Now, even if you have written the second paragraph and then you realize that, okay, the second paragraph is not big enough, go back to your first paragraph, see what you can pick up, cut, paste from the first paragraph and put it into the second paragraph. That saves time and both the paragraph. Now, any relevant point in the first paragraph, leave it. Any point that is not relevant to the second paragraph, bring it down to the, which is not relevant to the first paragraph, bring it down to the second paragraph. And don't expand too much on examples. Your explanation should be there and one example more than enough. And
Okay,
yes,
ma'am.
you have to write a minimum of 300 words. That also you have to keep in mind. So expansion should be enough to get to around 300 to 320 words. Otherwise, your points were good, but your expansion was a little bit botchy. Okay. So
Okay,
I
ma'am.
hope you everyone has got this.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Can you provide the sample answer for the same essay?
The sample answer I don't have, unfortunately. But you don't need a sample answer because you're going to write your own answer.
Yes, ma'am. Like, I just need to compare what all could I have written more.
What all could I have written more? No, your points are there, but only your arranging of the points is a little, like when I said, but when I grew up, I got exposed to technology. This part can go into the second, like children can educate themselves in creative ways. So that can go into the second paragraph.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So otherwise your points were fine. Only a little bit on like how to expand on each one was a little problematic. Now come to just a second if I can find the others. So this is Varshini. I think this was your essay in the first test. So the same question. You also began with I agree with the statement. Instead of beginning with I agree, rephrase the question or use some other point, right? Related to technology being used too much. Now, you had this observing the adults, children learn to use the advanced technology too. A little problem with your grammar here. Now this, where would this go? First paragraph, second paragraph?
Ma'am, before the conclusion.
This could go to the conclusion, right? So you had to edit it out. Did you edit out or did you not have time to edit it out?
I didn't edit, ma'am.
Okay, so you have to make sure that you edit. Yeah, like you are left with some silly spelling mistakes. Can you see them? Which can be avoided. So don't leave spelling mistakes which are visible. 1 or 2 spelling mistakes, fine, but not more than that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, 1 or 2 can be excused, but not too many. And yes, when you are typing, there's always this problem about spacing. So whenever you come to punctuations, remember you have to have a space after punctuation. Yeah, and this whole thing, in most of the places, comma, no space, full stop, no space. Yeah, so your typing should be perfect and your grammar should be perfect. You also, your points are there, examples are there, but a little haphazardly arranged, right? That's why I always say, always keep time to read through whatever you have written. If you read through what you have written, you can edit out a little. Say, I think this one, although technology development acts a good thing. What does that mean?
Acts as a good thing.
It tends to reduce spelling is wrong, the ability of child to think and do the work without using their own brains. Now, this was something related to the first paragraph, which has come down as a separate paragraph, right? So these things can be avoided. So now I think you people are getting an idea where you are going wrong. Yes, Garv?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now coming to the reading and listening. I'm a little confused why you people are getting so low marks in your reading and listening. What's going wrong? Yes, Varshini, what went wrong with your reading section and listening section?
Ma'am, for the listening section, firstly, I think that I thought that the audio was way too long and then there was a lot of information that couldn't capture everything. I didn't get all the information, so when I was answering the questions, I missed out on a few points or answered the wrong question. And for the reading part, like I think one of the passages I didn't understand completely, though I read the whole passage.
Now, did you lose time in just reading the passage?
No, ma'am, I lost time. I was finding the answer.
Now, the passages are such that the questions are related to a particular paragraph. Yeah, so you have to be able to find your answer from that particular paragraph, right? So if you spend time reading the entire passage in the beginning, you will be losing time in finding your answer from a particular paragraph, right? So that you have to be very careful. Now, Varshini, you got this about 18 out of 30 in the reading. That's terrible. And even listening, okay, listening, you said you missed out a few points, but did that happen in all the passages?
Most of them.
So you have to be able to pick up on your listening skills.
Even if I get the points down, when I go back and read it, the points are jumbled, so I don't understand what I wrote.
So that's why I said you have to be able to take down your notes properly. Yeah, practice notes taking. Yeah. Okay, Saransh, what happened to you? What happened to you in the reading sections? Like your second one and first one, both are like you've got just about 22 and the second test is 20. So reading, what difficulty are you still facing in reading?
Ma'am, I'm able to
Okay, you may.
complete reading within time, but I think like my answers are not accurate. I think there are many answers which are very similar to each other. So in that
So
only
are you in a hurry? You are not able to analyze the question?
I'm kind of in a hurry, but
But you have to be able to get to the right answer.
ma'am.
Yeah, you have to be a little more focused and attentive. Because what happens is reading and listening. These are the two sections where you can score. If you lose out on your scores on reading and listening, then you will not be able to reach the 100 mark. And the 100 mark in TOEFL is very important. Right? At least 100. In fact, you should be scoring above 100. Right? So you have to pick up on your speed a little. I think that's a little bit of a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And make sure that you focus on what you are doing. So Sarlanch, you are applying this year? You need your TOEFL scores right away, or you have another chance?
For TOEFL?
Yeah. You are not applying this year, no? You are applying next year?
This year, ma'am.
You are applying now. Okay. So your scores are important. Now you have to score at least 100. Remember that. Yeah. So you cannot botch up your reading and listening. Your listening was better this time. You
In listening,
managed
I think
24. Listening, where are you going wrong?
listening, I think I was too fast to give the answers.
Because listening, you get a lot of time to think.
Yes, I'm like, I saw I got 10 spare minutes after I did all the questions.
That's where you went wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
You could have got, you could have. So now you know that in the listening section, you can analyze your answers a little more so you don't get them wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
Listening section, you should get at least a 28, reading and listening. If you get 28 in these two, and even if you get 22 or 21 in the speaking and writing, still you will get your score. Yeah? So
Yes,
22 in listening and writing, 28 in reading and 22 in speaking and writing, and 28 in reading and listening. This is what you have to aim at. Okay? Otherwise, there's going to be trouble.
yes.
Okay? So now you know where you are going wrong. I hope you will be able to get your scores tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
So today you can practice a little more. Go back to what the material that you already have. Go back to the reading section and redo the passages and see where you are going wrong.
Okay.
Okay. So just redo the passages that you have already done and see, okay, this question you got wrong, why you got it wrong. Okay. And same in listening. Now listening, you can get your score if you go, you are a little more attentive. Okay. Okay. Now coming to Garv. Garv.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are you going to do today?
I'm gonna work on my speaking skill, then go through and revise for the reading section, and also practice the writing section a bit, like all my sentences and all.
So
The structure.
the speaking section you have managed more or less. Okay, you managed at 27, and you have to be able to keep it up.
Yes.
And the speaking and the writing, the reading section, please be a little more attentive.
Yes.
Analyze your questions better so that you don't lose points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And yeah, don't feel sleepy when you are doing the test. Where's your center?
It's in that, near the Ghatkopar area.
Okay, you got covered. Remember to reach early.
Yes,
carry
ma'am.
all your documents. Carry
Yeah.
your identity proof.
Yes, ma'am.
So there is no problem. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. So like ma'am, do we also have to carry our notebook or they will give us pages?
They will give you everything. Paper,
Okay.
pencil, pen. You have to carry your identity and your admit card.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mobile phones also you don't carry inside.
Okay.
Maximum they will be giving you a locker to keep.
Okay.
And yes, Saransh and Gar, both of you, since you're writing tomorrow, remember, if there is any problem, always raise your hand, report to the whoever invigilator is there.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. And make sure that you check your mic, and they will be checking whether it's getting recorded or not before you begin. But if nobody comes, ask somebody to check whether your voice is getting recorded or not.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And time, keep your timer, keep an eye on the timer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am.
So go in with confidence. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right? Yes,
Yeah,
Saransh. I hope that whatever we did today helps.
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
Okay. Okay, then all the best. And Varshini, keep practicing.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you taking it by the end of next month?
I haven't decided yet, ma'am.
Okay, fine. At least don't stop practicing.
Sure.
And take it before there is a big gap.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So maybe you practice this month and the beginning of December you take your test.
Yeah, ma'am.
Otherwise you will be getting into your exam mode and forgetting about TOEFL, and then you will not be able to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay then. All the best and thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Anushka ma'am.
Ma'am, thank you.